There are military veterans that are out there that are using the uniform for clout in order to get followings on Instagram and use it for photo shoots. I want to talk about some critical ideas as we look at this because there is a lot of attacks that are happening currently on social media. What is up, guys? You're tuning in to NickyMGTV for another video. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below if you have questions. But as always, make sure you hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Also, I do have a gaming channel where you can check me out over there, where I will be streaming almost on a daily basis, and I will answer your questions in the live stream, things like that, and play Call of Duty, whatever else we get into over there. So make sure you guys go subscribe there if you see some more content from me. But going forward, this came about from DD214 Memes as they started a movement towards Now with the Beast in the past that I covered. Also, now they're starting a new movement towards Combat Barbie. Combat Barbie is a veteran that was in the Marine Corps that is now using her image as a Marine to be able to create photo shoots that utilize military-themed things, and there's a lot of people that are very upset about this because they are Marines, and so I want to dive into that. To give some backstory on Combat Barbie, she was serving from 18 until the age of 25, 7 years total. She did make the rank of sergeant. I was not able to find out what job she did in the Marine Corps, but she did deploy to Afghanistan in 2012. I do want to say that I'm not going to discredit her service. Obviously, thankful for her service and everything that she's done as far as anybody that decides to raise her hand and join. So I'm not being critical of that if I ever come across in this, I'm not bashing her service at all. And weirdly enough, she was also married to a guy named Logan Carpenter, another military influencer on Instagram that is actually sponsored by BPN Nick Bear. And he does have a little over 100,000 subs. And they were married at one point and now they're divorced. But anyway, perfect couple, right? But anyway, they were both have been accused of using the uniform for clout on different times. He did post about this at one point during his deployment. I can tell he's deployed right now somewhere. He doesn't explain. But he does say that someone was trying to say that he'd used the uniform for traction on social media and he was abusing it. And he said sometimes you just got to cancel those people out and keep moving forward. But I don't agree with that, but we're going to move forward kind of discussing Combat Barbie because it is interesting that there is this whole culture of military content creators on Instagram. And to give context to her as well, she is saying that she is doing this to quote-unquote empower or bring positivity to the community and show people that they can accomplish anything. Yeah. She also does have a clothing line as well as every other influencer on this entire platform on YouTube, Instagram, whatever has. Also, she does clout chase a little bit with Dan Bilzerian. Don't forget, he has a 2-time failed Buds drop. So just want to put that out there. She definitely hangs out with champions. Before we analyze this situation at all, I want to ensure everyone knows this. I have covered female news, female empowerment in combat situations and stuff, and definitely have done that to say I support women. I covered the Vanessa situation. I've done a lot of things to support women on this platform. I will also say that this topic came to me from my female friends. So this is not something that males actually brought up to me. And I didn't even know DD214 Memes was actually going against Combat Barbie. And they brought up to me and they said, you need to talk about this because I think that there has to be some level of explanation of how this works and kind of the idea. Because as a content creator, I see through a different lens than most people that are just looking at the content. What this comes down to is there are two different camps. The first one is female empowerment. Obviously, this, I believe, is the trump card of everything that happens on Instagram with females wanting to pose in exposing photos or videos. That is the one thing that people always go back to, especially for the military aspect, because obviously they served their time, they did their time, and now they're looking to do something else, and we should support them. That is something that people say because the fact that once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. That's the idea that is put out there. Now, there is a whole other camp to this, and that is what I would call the more traditionalist route. And that is the look from an active duty person that has served in the military or is still serving, that looks at the uniform as something they need to uphold in a level of a prestigious view or mindset, and that these are people that have worn this uniform that have passed away, and that this is a combat uniform and should not be used as a prop in order to be used for financial gain or for clout or anything like that. DD214 Memes actually does also say that they believe through a meme that they were saying that this only reaffirms the culture that females are sex objects and should not belong in the military. If you don't know, the military, most branches have a different spread of male versus female, whereas the Marine Corps, I believe it's around 10-ish% of female, whereas if you look at the Air Force, you're looking at about 20%, I believe, and the Navy is very close to that as well. Army, I'm not sure. But looking at those numbers, though, I will say I understand their point of view as far as females being seen as objects, because there is that attitude in the military in certain aspects, not all aspects. But I have noticed that in the Marine Corps, that is the commonality. I will say first off that the men, because there's two to tango, have to take accountability that this is not something that should be seen as, it depends what they wear, okay? And it's not just us getting mad that they are not wearing clothes or whatever, right? I'm going to go into my opinion, but that's what I'm getting from DD214 Memes, and the pressure that's being put on Combat Barbie here is it's not about being half naked in the photos. It's about the utilization of the uniform. Going into my opinion of this entire subject as just a dude that's been in almost 12 years, because a lot of people don't know, so I keep saying that just to give context. But what I want to say is, this, I understand and I do agree that the uniform should not be used for the photo shoots. That is my position. And I will tell you this as somebody that has had to make this very critical decision myself, because as a military content creator, you are able to choose to use the uniform. Riding a very fine line. Obviously, active duty, she is veteran, so that's not the same thing, but I want to talk on that later. But what I want to say is, I at one point decided to make a few videos while I was in uniform, and I said, Nikki, that is lame. You are literally sitting at home in your uniform, coming back from work, and it just didn't feel right. It felt like I wasn't being genuine. So when I talk to you guys, I'm talking to you as Nikki more so than I am, making that connection as maybe somebody that's in a uniform like this, right? And using that power play or that power move, whereas right now I'm talking to you both peer-to-peer because we're both on social media. And it does give you a level of credibility. Obviously, she does have credibility with a longer track record, longer than an enlistment. She did have one toward Afghanistan as well. No one's going to knock her for that. And I will say that as somebody that is active duty, this uniform is meant for combat that she's wearing in these photos. I am a person that's active duty that cannot even leave my car driving to and from my house in this uniform, which means I can't stop for gas. You can't get out of your car to go pick up takeout food, anything like that. So there is a lot of respect to the uniform in the Marine Corps. And I will say that that does kind of baffle me that she would use this as that level, but I'll explain why I think it's genius. I'm going to fall back on something that every Marine takes away with them, and I bet you she does too, is once a Marine, always a Marine. And part of that is upholding some of those traditions, which is why I was surprised she decided to go this route. But I wasn't, because she knew the culture of the Marine Corps. She knew what was going to come of this. She knew people were going to share her photos and make commentary about it, like I'm doing in this video. So she knew that that was going to gain traction and outrage people. And outrage, whether it's bad attention or good attention, is still attention. I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think this really upholds the tradition of the Marine Corps. But I will say, out of tastefulness, if I was to give any advice on this, is I would say that I believe that the spin-off uniform alteration type things that she did that were military-esque, right? If they were pin-up type uniforms, I thought those were tasteful in commemorating the military service without using the actual uniform. It is very obvious she's wanting mainstream attention by doing all of this, and she has obtained a lot of it. She's been in Vogue, she's been in Playboy, she's done a lot of different things in order to get that. And I want to say, as a content creator and a military person, that I've seen strong females that are on social media that maybe don't get all of the attention that they deserve, that people that are doctors, people that have retired and served as nurses, as flight nurses, and all these other cool things that I think portray a different image than what she is trying to do. If you're looking for, I would say, a more accurate representation of the military, is her version of it a very I would say shallow in my opinion. Yes, I would say that. But I do want to shout out some other female creators that I think do deserve the attention. If you came here for this video and you're looking for another female to maybe reach out to, look for answers, or maybe just see what they're doing and kind of their lifestyle. And I want to finish off on this note is that Instagram models or influencers are right now a dime a dozen. You literally can go on Instagram and find a girl that's posing in a bikini somewhere. There has been just a new standard that it's almost like the formula has been mastered, and we know that there are people that can get views, clicks, likes, followers, subs for being half naked. We know that obviously sells. But to be original, I would say that this is probably being used as their one token of this is why I'm different than every other girl on Instagram. And that's, what it is. But obviously she's a veteran. She can't be stopped, and that's how it's going to be. So we can sit around and be mad about it, and she's still going to continue to do it because she wants views and clicks. So that's where we're at right here. And those are my thoughts, because I know people were sometimes asking me about this and what I thought about some of these influencers. But if you guys do have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, that down below. Also, let me know your thoughts about this situation. Do you think that these Instagram military veteran influencers should maybe change the way they present their content to separate the uniform and these photos, such as bikini shots and things like that? This is a topic of discussion and really a look at morals, ethics, and opinions as far as this goes. So I look forward to see what you guys think. But as always, guys, I love you guys. I'll see you next time.